Hello and welcome to our talk on community-driven retrofit. My name's Christabel Watts and I'm also joined today by my colleague Nikki Hodgson, and we both work for the Environment Centre. In this talk, we're going to be doing a brief introduction to the Environment Centre. We're going to be talking about what we see community-driven retrofit looking like. We're going to be talking a bit about opportunities, challenges, and how this links into other things going on locally at the moment.
So as Christabel mentioned, we work for a charity called the Environment Centre, which is affectionately known as TECH, and it's based in Southampton. So the charity's been around for close to 30 years now, and although our projects have changed in that time, our aims remain the same, which are to reduce carbon emissions, encourage sustainability, improve air quality, and help people stay warm and well in their own homes. TECH is the trusted local centre for information and advice, especially on home energy efficiency, and it's open to residents of any tenure. TECH is not only staffed by energy and sustainability experts, we also have a couple of domestic energy assessors in-house, which offers a unique service for our projects. Over the years, we've been able to help not just households, but also private landlords and local authorities to access funding for home improvements through the many previous energy efficiency schemes like ECO and the Green Deal, Warm Front from way back when, and most recently, the Green Homes Grant. And we manage people's journeys often from start to finish through our projects. So simplifying the process for them, but also understanding the complexities that go on behind the scenes. So what do we think of when we talk about community-driven retrofit? I think a big proportion of the clientele will be from what we call the able-to-pay market. These are people who may not be able to afford a whole house retrofit or invest in hard-to-treat measures like solid wall insulation. But currently, much of the funding available for energy efficiency measures targets low-income households. So think about ECO or even the Green Homes Grant local authority delivery scheme. But even when people don't fall into the low income category, they still want grants to help with the upfront costs of the work. So some will be motivated to retrofit their homes by the carrot, like reductions to their energy bills, improving the thermal comfort of their homes. There's also been a lot of recent interest in the environmental benefits of energy efficiency measures, including the reduction in carbon emissions. And grants, as I said before, are also a big incentive to make improvements. So then there are those who might be more motivated by the stick, like potentially higher stamp duty on energy inefficient properties or a poor energy rating when selling a home in the future, or the high energy cost linked to these types of homes. A lot of these households will be dipping their toe into the space for the first time and need somewhere to turn for impartial advice. They may be looking for training or informational sessions, as well as other resources. So for a seamless journey, householders will need a way to link to retrofit assessors and to installers, and that's going to require project management. And it's especially important if problems arise. People really need to know where to turn if things go wrong. So currently there are very limited numbers of retrofit assessors in the local area, but householders have a big appetite for expert advice tailored to their specific circumstances. That comes at a cost, of course, but perhaps a cost that they're willing to pay for peace of mind if they're recommended an accredited trusted local contractor. We don't really know what accreditation would look like exactly, but it could be something like PAS 2030, Trustmark, Buy with Confidence. There's also a place for local authority endorsed installers, especially where there are grants involved. But regardless of whatever accreditation there is, there's got to be some sort of post-occupancy evaluation to ensure a high standard of work. A community-driven retrofit, we think, is the perfect opportunity to tackle hard-to-treat properties and to take a holistic approach in addressing the energy performance of an entire house. The low-hanging fruit like loft insulation are basically all gone. So you're left with the more difficult and expensive work, but that's work that can make a much bigger impact. Rolling this out street by street might be difficult, but good marketing and word of mouth can really help turn this ideal into reality, we hope.
So what are the opportunities? I think the biggest opportunity here is the high level of interest. So with the recent Green Homes grant, we had an unprecedented number of inquiries from members of the public who were looking to get this work done. They were predominantly the able to pay market, and they were particularly interested in air source heat pumps, double glazing upgrades, and underfloor insulation. So not your standard cavity wall and loft insulation. And there's also recently been a huge interest in a bulk purchasing solar scheme that's being run by Hampshire County Council. And another opportunity is access to impartial advice. So as Nikki mentioned, there are not many retrofit coordinators and assessors locally, but through community-driven retrofit, this would really increase the demand for those, and it's an opportunity for more people to get trained and provide that expert tailored in people's house advice that householders are looking for. In addition, we have a Freephone advice line where people can phone and start their journeys and get signposted onto other schemes. And this could link in well to people who are looking for retrofit assessors and accredited contractors. And some householders may need extra support and hand-holding, and this might be an opportunity for people to work with those households and get the biggest impacts for them. In terms of opportunities, job creation and job security is obviously a really important one. So in addition to the retrofit assessors and energy advisors, there's also a big opportunity for training and upskilling contractors, incorporating that training into college and apprenticeships, and giving contractors the opportunity to grow into this emerging market. In terms of rollout, as Nikki mentioned, street by street might not always be appropriate if householders aren't looking for similar measures, but certainly what we've seen through our projects is it's spreading by word of mouth, by neighbours and friends seeing work done and they're interested. And the other communications that we've seen being particularly effective are targeted letters to householders looking for particular measures based on their EPCs. And also with the Green Homes grant, what was really effective was TV and news articles, because lots of the members of the public saw that, and then they went to the Simple Energy Advice Directory run by the government, and that led them to local schemes. Another opportunity is changing regulations. So the minimum energy efficiency standards for rented properties are currently at an E, but that will be increasing, certainly in line with the fuel poverty target of C by 2030, but it's currently under consultation and could be earlier at 2025 or 2028. So that will increase the demand and the market. Obviously the UK net zero targets by 2050 will require a huge overhaul of the current buildings, including domestic buildings, and we're seeing building regs change all the time, with no gas boilers in new builds in the next few years, and that could help if people are looking to get an extension or some significant work done on their building, and that would tie into building regs. And finally, an opportunity with retrofit is the societal benefits. So mental and physical health are both improved by a warmer home, both from the health conditions side, but also just from the reduced stress of having a home that's cheap to run and easy to heat. It's estimated that for every £1 spent keeping homes warm, it saves the NHS 42p in health costs. So there's also the opportunity to reduce that burden on the NHS services. In terms of challenges, we think that one of the challenges is trying to focus on fabric first. As we saw with the Green Homes grant, a lot of people are interested in new technologies, air source heat pumps. Some of these are not tried and tested, particularly in older properties. And obviously, air source heat pumps work most effectively in an efficient home. So we think it's really important that fabric and energy efficiency is focused on to try and reduce that demand before looking at some of the other technologies which are still in the development stage, really, and testing to see if they work in reality on a widespread area. In terms of procurement has been a real problem for a lot of the projects we've worked on, just in terms of the timescales of getting procurement ready in time, and also who takes the liability and the responsibility for those contractors. We think that community-driven retrofit could work really effectively if local authorities were involved with their procurement frameworks, and they were able to work across local authority boundaries and provide a much wider service for people in the whole of the Solent region. As Nikki mentioned earlier, quality assurance is so important. So ensuring the training of contractors and the quality of work delivered. Unfortunately, we've had some bad experiences with the affordable warmth work that we've done. So fuel poor households are left with below standard work, and obviously an able to pay market where they're predominantly homeowners are more likely to be concerned and particular about this because it's their home and they want their home to be in the best possible condition. Installation best practice is complicated and it's easy to cover up bad work, and so who would be checking up on it? Is it building control? Is it the manufacturers and system accreditations? Financial incentives, Nikki will talk a bit more about this, but as we said, most people want grants for the work. That's really going to incentivize them and help them get those harder to treat measures, but most of the schemes at the moment are for low-income households. They're very changeable and unpredictable, and it's a bit of a postcode lottery that can be difficult for people to navigate. And finally, one of the challenges is a trust in energy efficiency schemes. There's been a loss of interest and confidence and trust in some of the government schemes as difficulties have arisen both from members of the public but also from the contractors, where sort of uncertainty of payment and the extra bureaucracy of getting accredited has been off-putting to both of those parties.
So what's going on locally? Well, tech's been helping local authorities run local energy efficiency advice services. So in Southampton, we have Southampton Healthy Homes. Hampshire has Hitting the Cold Spots, and in Portsmouth, we have Switched On Portsmouth. So residents can call or email us with their energy efficiency questions, and this also extends to practical support under our affordable warmth projects. So for example, linking low income or vulnerable households to available funding for insulation or heating measures who might otherwise struggle to apply themselves. Agility Eco also provides support for some of the affordable warmth projects, particularly in Portsmouth. We're also raising awareness on EPCs, minimum energy efficiency standards, and HHSRS regulations to landlords and private tenants through our Raising Standards project. Currently, the local and national funding options for energy efficiency measures are mostly available to low-income households. So this includes local authority discretionary funding, carbon offset, disabled facilities grants, better care funding, and ECO or EcoFlex. The Green Homes Grant voucher scheme is really the only able to pay grant we're aware of, but even the subsections like the local authority delivery scheme are directed at low-income households. Able to pay households, however, they could potentially access loans for home improvements. For example, some local authorities have partnered with Parity Trust, which is based in Portsmouth. Our affordable warmth projects signpost clients to local contractors, either through the Buy with Confidence scheme or to installers with access to eco funding. So we know there are energy efficiency contractors that operate locally, and we have experience with these from a project management perspective as well. There aren't quite as many local contractors willing to do work under the Green Homes Grant voucher scheme in our experience, but the local authority delivery branch of the scheme oftentimes procures regional contractors for the work within set framework agreements, and that seems to be working well so far. So Southampton, Hampshire, and Portsmouth residents can call us on our free phone numbers or email us. Our advisors are available during normal business hours, so Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have a lot of information about what we can do to help on our website, which is environmentcenter.com. And if any of you would like to get in touch with us, either for help or to discuss partnerships or funding opportunities, please do.
Brilliant. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please note them down and share them in the Q&A session that is coming up, or send us an email. Thank you very much.
Thanks.